Hi guys, today I have the C43 AMG Coupe. Alright, Bobby here. Hello, that's the guy here. Now I love the paint job, and I've driven the C200, the C250 Coupe. You guys have seen me driven it, and that car is something I would call a bit mad, but this guy is just outright crazy. Now this car, this one, and the C200 and the C250 totally doesn't behave like the C43 AMG. The C43 AMG is a lot more stable in terms of front end, it's a lot more linear, and it has a happy tail end, and it has a crazy engine that makes us brake before the engine even has a chance to scream. So because the C43 AMG is so torquey, 700 Newton meters of torque, halfway down the throttle pedal, right, the car will be doing that, and you're at speeds that you have to slow down before the RPM even pass the 5,000 mark. This guy here is a beautiful 3-liter V6 engine that works with you. The engine behaves like this. It does that. So this is very, very similar to the Porsche's 2.9 V6, which is an engine that I love, man. So I can immediately say that this engine has a better character, has a better output, a better linearity, and a better way of screaming and producing power than the award-winning 3-liter inline 6 engine in BMW's 340i, 640i or 440i. Of course, the BMW engine is very, very raw when it comes to making sound. These guys sound a bit synthetic, but in terms of output, in terms of character, in terms of response and all that, right, this beats the 3-liter turbo in the Audi and the 3-liter turbo in the BMW. This engine is brilliant. Okay, it produces 367 horsepower and God knows 500 Newton meters. If I'm not wrong, maybe I forgot about it. Anyway, it's priced at 550,000. And is it worth its price point? For the smile that it puts on your face, I would say yes, even though it's rather costly. But don't forget, back then, the BMW 535i cost 598,000 ringgit. And now, what we heard from BMW is that there are 20 overbuyers who went to BMW and ordered the 540i. That means they don't want the 530e, they don't want the 530i, they ordered the 540i with the 3-liter inline 6 engine, and it cost them 600,000 a pop. So in Malaysia, premium cars, fully imported, if you're 3-liter and above, expect 500,000 and above. On that context, this car is not expensive at all. Alright, let's have a look at this exterior. This paint is beautiful. I don't know the official name. At first I thought it's a wrap, but it's a beautiful, beautiful paint. Okay, some frozen grey. Oh, frozen grey is a BMW term. The AMG diamond grills are here. It's very, very good looking. And this one is 4-wheel drive, 4MATIC badge, as you can see there, compared to the rear-wheel drive of the C43 AMG. Okay, the wheels. Now the wheels, I don't really like how these wheels look. Yeah, I don't like them. And in terms of the tires, these Dunlop Sport, don't know what, Sport Max or whatever, they are just like that. Okay, these tires. But the 4-wheel drive system makes up for it. Okay, in terms of grip and all that, I don't have problems with grip. And it doesn't have the wide body of the C63, it doesn't have that, but still, it is a very, very good looking coupe. Okay, the AMG badge here, C43. And what we heard that day, Mercedes has launched their 53 series, which is the same power plant as this one, but with a mild hybrid powertrain added in, so to produce 450 horsepower. So that sits in a midpoint between 63, 43, and now they have 53. But they launched the 53 with the E-Class Coupe and the CLS, their dream car series. I'm not sure it will filter down. It might. Okay, so again, look at the profile of this car. It has a beautiful center belt line. Look at that. And it casts the shadow beneath. And then down here, it folds up like that, and then you have reflective light going up there. Okay, it's a good looking car. It comes with the panoramic roof, and inside here is very, very familiar. It's a the same thing that Mercedes has. You see, every time I come here, mosquitoes come in. Okay, Burmester sound system. You have this flat bottom steering wheel. This steering wheel looks very familiar because Mercedes uses it across all their cars. Now, you have to understand, most car makers will be doing this now because of the European homologation law. Alright, now look at this part here. It looks exactly the same as all C-Class. So, do I need to go through the interior? Because it's expected to be the same anyway, right? Leather-clad dashboard, red stitching, beautiful AMG seats. Not super comfortable, but very good looking nonetheless. It's alright. Okay, the seats are alright. Now, everything here is familiar. Okay, now Mercedes-Benz, if you let me help you to dissect this a bit. We all know their interiors look beautiful, right? But it's a very, very smart and beautifully executed cost-saving method. They put this center waterfall-like dash over here. What this means is that they don't need to produce a different version for left-hand drive and right-hand drive. They can just change the part behind. They can produce two sets of that and one set of this and this, so they don't need to change the orientation. Some cars with the slightly, slanted driver-centric thing, right, is costly. And then you see this module, this one here, and this guy here. See that? This is produced to be modular. That means in other cars, they can just plug this out, these three things, and slot it in. A very, very clever approach to cost cutting, but appearing beautiful at the same time. Okay, now this gloss black material attracts a lot of dust. Forget about it. Okay, now why do I say that it's very smart? Look at this part. It of course is designed for left-hand drive. So on left-hand drive, you have the steering wheel here, and then you have the driver controls of all over here. Whereas here, which is supposed to be passenger side, you have the volume control and all that. Okay, but is it too big of an inconvenience? No. So Mercedes just leave it like that. So now you have the driver, you have the volume control over here, you have the volume control over here. Whereas if you're the passenger, you have to cross this side. But I don't think that is a big issue. But kudos to Mercedes-Benz. The way they design their interiors now, it's a very, very smart approach. Okay. Now these are the back seats. There are cup holders in the middle, red seat belts, the Burmester speakers there to spice up the interior, and then the panoramic glass roof. As usual, the sunglass holders are rather small and this plastic is rather cheap. But overall, I think this car is a very nicely executed, beautiful coupe. And you know what? When Mercedes-Benz say that they want to bring in the C-Class coupe, all their dealers were like, nah, no one buys coupe, no one buys coupe. But Mercedes put up a great show and they sold 200 over C-Class coupes last year. It was crazy. Now, I am 5'11", okay? And this C-Class coupe's back, the rear seats, are more comfortable than my 6 Series. Yeah. So my head is touching the headliner, and I have knee room, and I can put my feet underneath the front seats. I can just sit like that, and I can put on my seatbelts and all that. It is totally usable for an adult, even though I can't do much with the rear seats. It's rather straight, but this is a coupe. To be able to slot me in is already brilliant. Okay, and at the back, as all Mercedes-Benz, Wall E is here. Okay, and this really hard, really coarse plastic is still here. Overall, nice. Alright, that's the interior. Nothing much to shout out. Isofix all around. I love this. This means you won't lose the cap. Okay, everybody learn from Mercedes. Use this. You won't lose the cap. Okay? Yeah, I guess that's about it. Cheers. Hi guys. So I've driven the C200 Coupe or Coupe. I've driven the C250 Coupe. And now, this isn't the C300, but the C43 AMG. So this is the little brother of the C43 AMG, and I reckon this is a very interesting car because as I got on the car just now, it is in comfort mode. So it's quiet, it's soft, and then I put it up to Sport Plus. And I hear some things. I hear some rumbling, and then now I leave it in Sport Plus mode. It is you can feel it's a bit of a rebel, this car, you know. See, it does all that. And now this has a 3-liter twin turbo V6. Was it a V6 or a straight 6? I think the straight 6 just came out. This is still the V6. I mean, I could be wrong. Okay. Now, I have two cars. Both of my cars are 3-liter 6-cylinder engines. Okay. The Audi is a 3-liter supercharged V6, and my BMW is a 3-liter straight 6 twin scroll single turbo engine. The BMW sings a beautiful note. The Audi responds like mad. It's smooth. It is super duper smooth, and it also performs. And when it sounds, when it pulls, that interesting sound of the engine intertwining with the supercharger creates a harmonic sound that I rather like. This guy here, it makes, I would like to assume it's a synthesized sound, because I don't think any 3-liter 6-cylinder engine sounds like this one. It just have this really rather high pitch gear sound to it. It has that interesting, I mean, it develops those pops at the back, but it just makes that kind of, it almost like that kind of, it almost sounds like that bunch of bees chasing you kind of rotary engine sound. You see, you almost have that sound to it. So interesting car. I've always found the C-Class, be it the 200 or the 250 coupe, a bit twitchy at the front end. The front end seems a bit too fast for a car of its kind. But interestingly, this guy have a more sorted, more planted front end. I believe it's also because it is a 4-wheel drive 4MATIC Mercedes-Benz. So given that the front wheels are also connected to the drive shafts and all that, I kind of prefer this one. This one feels a lot more linear, feels a lot more refined in certain ways. But the transmission, I wouldn't say the same thing. When you're at slow speeds in Sport Plus and all that, right, it really does feel like you are driving a manual. Put it in first gear and throttle without balancing the clutch. Just throttle a bit and let the car hang there. It really does that at slow speeds. You see, just now when it's shifting, it was doing that thing. I have no idea why it does that, but this transmission, I can call it character, I can call it unsorted, but I wouldn't call it something that is not memorable. This car has character. I'm not sure what it was displaying just now there, with the whole car twitching like that, being a character that was designed in, or a flaw that was left out. So, but given that this car has an AMG moniker at the back, C43 AMG, I expect some form of respect that this car would demand, because it is special. The moment you get up the car on the get-go, it is telling you that, hey, don't tame me yet, bro. You know, it's something special, this car. The way it pops the exhaust, and the way the gears was like, are you ready? Are you ready? It's like shaking me, you know. The car is almost like holding me by the shoulder and goes like, Bobby Yang, what are you doing? You know, it almost does that. Interesting. I like it. I like cars that are interesting. Especially cars with 2 doors and with a very sporting moniker to it. It better be sporty, it better be special, and this car so far is special. I would be disappointed if I got up this car and it is all smooth and floaty and shifts gears like super duper smooth, like a video game. Okay, that kind of driving characteristics that are very VAG group like is not present in this. The sort of refinement, absolute refinement that you get in VAG group cars is also not here. This car is special. It has that Mercedes kind of rough at the edges kind of character, which doesn't gel well with the image that it still has, but it gives the cars a lot of character. And this car still has that, you know, twitchy bit to it, that kind of urgency that this car has, and the gearbox that is just, you know, it's like, what? You want me to shift gears? You know, it feels like a rough guy doing the job, and that gives the car a bit of character, and I like it. I might not be as comfortable sitting in this car as any VAG group cars or the new 5 Series for that matter, you know, but I kind of like cars like that, you know. The V90 as well, a bit of dum dum, you know, steering is super straight, super direct. Now the V90 steering is more direct than this. Of course they don't compete, but I'm just giving a reference point, you know. And it's a car that now I'm in a traffic jam, but I can't wait for the traffic jam to subside and see how much enjoyment I get to squeeze out of this car. And I believe I will rather enjoy it, and I will enjoy it even more if this is a cabriolet, because somehow cabriolets just fascinate me. But I've seen the cabriolet version of this car. It is not something that is good looking. I believe the C-Class Coupe will be better off with a hardtop convertible instead of a soft top, because of the how they proportion the car, the short tail, the front nose, you know, it just looks a bit ungainly with the cabriolet. But once it's down, be it hardtop or soft, once the tops are down, it is a looker. And with this as a coupe, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful car, a bit of a weird oddball proportion to it. It doesn't conform to the standard European coupe profile, but it has its own look, which I kind of like. Yeah, that's the C-Class Coupe, and the C43 Coupe for that matter. Alright, wow, look at this, the response of the engine, look at it. I can almost make the car do this on the road while traveling 80 km/h. I can make it look like it's waiting to pound. It wants to pound. Wow, this car is something. I just driven the Civic Type R yesterday night, and it is an awesome car, a very accomplished car, a grown-up Civic Type R, but it doesn't carry that FD2R feel to it. This car in Sport Plus mode, it does. It does remind me of the spirit of the FD2R, weirdly. Now, the C43 AMG is a great, crazy 4-liter V8 powerhouse. All that powerhouse in a car that is not very big. But the C63's engine overwhelms the whole experience. The moment you throttle it, all it does is, you know, that intake sound, that craziness, and it just overwhelms the entire experience. This guy dialed that bit down a bit and allows everything to shine, and I kind of enjoy it. I like this experience. It's very different from the C43 AMG. The 63 just overwhelms the whole experience with this engine, but this guy allows me to feel the gearbox, that engine, and how everything comes together, and that the AMG craziness is still there, and I like that urgency that it's not comfortable. I mean, you can fetch your girlfriend here or your boyfriend or what, and when you go into Sport Plus mode and you play with the throttle, it's gonna shake them up, man. And I like it. I like it. I like silly stuffs from car makers, and amongst the premium makes, nobody does silly stuffs better than Mercedes-Benz. They have this crazy bipolar disorder with Mercedes-Benz. They can give you an S-Class with an absolute comfort, you know, wafting you in complete comfort, and they can give you stupidity like this that puts a smile on your face and makes it unforgettable. Audi, you should learn this from Mercedes-Benz. You should learn a little bit of lunacy from Mercedes-Benz. Audi, right, is as if the same top engineers in charge of everything. You give them an Audi A8, oh, the gear shift has to be smooth. The car has to be smooth. You know, the car has to be comfortable. You give them an A3, they give you the same thing. And sometimes you need to be a little bit stupid to play slalom with these. And see, that's a slalom. Free slalom for me. Look at the front end, it's so fast. But the front end is so fast that my left foot slipped out because I think amidst all the lunacy, they forgot to design a footrest for me. There's no footrest for my left foot. So the front end of this car is so fast. You see, I'm going 40 km/h. I can turn the steering wheel until the traction control comes in. How is that even possible? I'm going only 40 km/h just now, and I twitch the steering wheel like those quick lane change thing, but the steering wheel is so fast, I'm almost pointing the wall and the traction control comes in. Can you imagine any car that has such a fast steering rack like the C Coupes does? A bit of a madness, this car. And I love this engine, man. This engine is comparable to the 2.9 V6 in the Panamera and the Cayenne because it is a V6 engine with turbocharged that pulls and swings like a naturally aspirated engine. Of course, I felt the one in the Panamera pulls even stronger in a nicer engine note, but this is not far off. This is better than the 3-liter V6 in the Porsche Panamera or the Cayenne. This engine is better and is very near in character to the 2.9 V6. It is very near in character. Yeah. This gearbox is quite something. I mean, there are times where it is searching for gear. Like now, look at it. I did not do that on purpose. All of a sudden, it's just doing that. But when I'm in Sport Plus mode now, and just now when I rev and it upshifts, it does a bit of that thing, which wow. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm having a better time behind the C43 AMG than the C63 AMG, because the C63 AMG, right, all I'm doing is, oh, will I get into trouble? Will I get into trouble? Will I get into trouble? But this guy, on normal roads like this, oh man, I'm gonna have such a good time behind the wheel of this car. This car completes the C-Class Coupe chassis behavior. You know, the behavior that I say is too twitchy, it's not comfortable, and this car completes that experience because it gels in the drivetrain of this car and how the chassis responds or was tuned with, and the super fast steering wheel. All these things come together in the C43 AMG. like it. I like the response of this engine, and the 4MATIC allows a certain linearity when I'm doing that kind of acceleration on roads like these, because the traction control comes in. I think this car will be a lot of fun without the traction control, because if I were to be doing the same thing in the C43 AMG just now, my tail would have stepped out. My tail would have stepped out just now. But in this car, it keeps a straight line, and there's that ridiculous transmission is doing all that. I'm gonna make you throw up if you just ate your meal in this car. This is nice. This is very nice. Thank you. Brilliant. Before I sum this car up, I've driven the that's a ASEAN Car of the Year logo at the back of the Ranger. Nice. Nice. Anyway, before I sum this car up, okay, I've driven the sedan C200, C250, and the coupe C200, C250. Now, the C class is comfortable. It's alright. It handles rather okay. Whereas the C200 and the C250, they have a super twitchy front end. If you check my previous videos, the front end is just so fast. Borderline, I couldn't understand the decision on that, because it's not the kind of very refined, very well-honed sports car, okay? And it totally defies its exterior design, because from the exterior, the C-Class coupe is such an elegant looking, beautiful coupe, and you thought it would be, you know, the kind of wafting, gracious, comfortable cruiser, but in fact it's not. It's like a elongated hot hatch with a lot of idiosyncrasies in terms of how the car behaves and handles. This guy dials that up to 11. It's if you look at how the Germans do their sports cars, if you look at how BMW, you know, Audi and all that, they have super fast gear shifts, it's smooth, it's comfortable, and when you throw the car into a corner, a high-speed corner, it holds its line really well, linear and all that. This car is none of that. This car is twitchy, it's rough, it's a hooligan with a Mercedes-Benz badge. It's almost like a cowboy designed this car. It just doesn't make sense. But it depends how I judge the car, because if I judge this car from a GT3 RS perspective, from an M3 perspective, or even an Audi S5 perspective, it is a rather rubbish car when it comes to the ride, the transmission shifts and all that. But when they have dialed this character up so far, it becomes something that put a smile on my face, because this car is crazy. The way it handles, the way that it is so twitchy, you know, so fast in terms of its steering. Look at it. It just puts a smile on your face, because it's like a mad dog. And if you put it up to Sport Plus, which is where you get the deeper exhaust note, it's even crazier. The transmission, look at it. The way it shifts gear is almost like a single clutch automated manual. It's so rough, and the throttle response is so sharp, so pin sharp, that you really can shatter the spines of your passengers. You know, they're just gonna throw up when you are in Sport Plus mode, because it's so crazy. So, and if you put this car in Sport Plus mode, you go to the track, you want to hit a record time, I don't think it's made for that purpose. But is it enjoyable? It's freaking enjoyable. It's downright stupid the way everything is put together and freaking shakes you up, you know. Yeah, it's a bit of a rebel, this car. I mean, the way it cuts. Oh my god, this car is just. See the way it shifts gear. Oh, so to me, if I put this car in comfort and judge it like how a luxury German coupe should be, then it's not very good. But if I put it in Sport Plus, look at it. Look at what is it doing. I just want to inch my way out. It's not me doing that throttle thing. It's not, you know. It's just under Sport Plus mode. This car is crazy. And I love it because I don't think there's another European premium coupe or sports cars out there that behaves like this. It's crazy. Even the C43 AMG under Sport Plus doesn't do that kind of crazy behavior. So it can be perceived as a lack unrefined engineering, or you can look at it that they purposely do it that way because it's fun. It's just hilarious the way it does all that. And yeah, I'm really surprised, and I found that I have a bigger enjoyable time behind the C43 AMG than the C63. Of course, the C63 is crazy, you know, the power, the sound and all that. I love it, but I can't be throwing a donut there and all that. Cannot. It's not like I know. And most of the time, most often than not, when I'm driving the C63, I was sent into fear before I enjoy what I'm doing. This guy puts a big smile on my face, and it's just crazy all around. It's a mad car. This car is a mad dog, and you know it's within control because of the four-wheel drive system. It's more you don't get the twitchy rear end of the C63, but you still get the twitchy front end. And the C63 doesn't behave like this car or the C250 or the C200, whereby the front end is so fast, you know. So yeah, to sum it all up, this car, if I'm not wrong, is about 300,000 ringgit cheaper than the C63, or was it 200? Doesn't matter if you're buying cars at this scale, okay? This car is, look at it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And both Mercedes, Audi and BMW have their own 3-liter 6-cylinder engine. Put aside the M3s, put aside the Alfa Romeo's 2.9 V6. But if I look at this German trio, with the engine that was in the BMW 340i or the Audi S5 and this guy here, this is the most entertaining engine. It makes the wildest sound. It was doing that. It's just a mad car. Alright, let's do a walk around now, and hope I gave a good idea on how this car drives, and it's a bit hilarious how it drives. Alright, cheers.